is pretty intense for them, so they will watch the recording. So let me make sure we have it properly set up. All right. Oh, let me see who just joined.
Yeah, Fabien, I think it was me. I accidentally logged off.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Oh, here we go. You see, good timing. People are just. Oh yeah, here we go. Hello, everybody. All right. Hello, Anthony. Hello, Joe. All right. So I think this should be a very interesting topic for all of you, because we will really discuss about real implementation and scale of AI. We will use a couple of examples. We will use a real case with Stack.AI, and we will talk about what we are doing internally at Ducker Carlisle. That can completely be replicated to other podcasts. So again, we're still waiting for him to join. We will talk a lot about Stack.AI here. Here we go. Perfect timing. Hello, Bernard.
Hello, Fabien.
Look at that. Perfect timing.
Wonderful.
I just kicked off the discussion. So if you want to give the team a quick introduction, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody, thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Bernard Aceituno. I'm the co-founder of Stack.AI. And as you know, probably as Fabien was saying already, I'm a person that has been in the field of AI for quite some time. Just for over a decade, I started working as an AI researcher during some time at MIT, Facebook AI Research, now Meta AI, where I was part of the Llama team. And I helped develop algorithms for computer vision, for reinforcement learning and planning. And since 2023, I've been actually serving outside of the academic world, founding Stack.AI, now helping enterprises run their own AI transformation using AI agents. With Stack.AI, we have worked with over 120 organizations worldwide, from Nubank, Raiffeisen Bank, from Morgan & Morgan, BAE Systems, etc., to help them build AI strategies that can gradually start transforming areas of the business using AI agents, from helping automating processes in compliance, support, business development, etc., all using one platform. My expertise is that right now, essentially, like how to make a company successful with AI agents, how to avoid them getting stuck in the usual pitfalls, and I will discuss about that through the presentation today. So yeah, thank you very much, Fabien.
Anytime. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Bernard. And actually, Bernard and I met when I was at Google, and I really enjoy what he was building. So now I'm happy to use Stack.AI every day with Ducker Carlisle. So just to start kind of the discussion, what we see, and I think everybody have seen this kind of like title, like 95% of AI implementation failed to deliver AI, coming from MIT, which actually hurt us a lot, because I think people didn't really looked at it in depth. Because I think we discussed that during the last session, but it's like saying like 95% of people that are starting a diet fail to lose weight. So does that mean that doing a diet is not working? Not at all. So I think that's really why we are trying to explain. It's like a lot of companies try to do AI with no tech experience, with no expertise, and a lot of them failed by lack of expertise. So I think that will be my main message for us based on our experience. It's like the two main key success factor. It's one, really find the right partners to scale AI. And I think Stack.AI is definitely a very successful partner for us. And two, it's pick the right strategy to scale AI and to deploy AI in your organization. Today, we'll talk about decentralized AI. this is the sweet spot because it's perfect for companies like our size. We are like roughly 200 employees. So if you are a mid-market company, so typically like a PE-owned companies, like you are roughly between 50 employees and 1,000 employees, decentralized AI is highly successful. Obviously, when you are Ford or L'Oreal, decentralizing AI, it's very difficult, and it's a different approach. But again, it's during this session we will really focus on like PE-owned companies and decentralizing AI. So that's what we'll explain here in this idea of decentralizing. It's really like so that's really not something that, it's not a slide, it's really what we are implementing at Ducker Carlisle. So we've created this citizen developer program, which is really 4 components. So we have this tech governance using Stack.AI. So we are really releasing Stack.AI to all our citizen developers. We give them all the support, as you can see, so monthly all hands, weekly open hour. And then we have like an accelerator program. If you don't know, we have a tech team based in Lisbon that are AI experts. Most of them are coming from Google with me and Artifact before. But then really those 4 components, that is the structure of our decentralized AI. And then you can see on the right, you have all the citizen developers being part of this program. And then as a PE community, what's really interesting, I will come back on. What is really interesting is access to tools and really getting efficiency. Because at the end of the day, I think you are all interested in getting those efficiencies at your portfolio companies. So the beauty of decentralized AI, it's really, you can see here, you can see on the top and on the right, we have our own tools developed by our tech team, but we are a bottleneck. So we cannot scale the AI adoption because we have a limited number of resources. So what we did by decentralizing AI is we completely changed this bottleneck, and now we don't have a bottleneck because we have the citizen developers, what you can see at the bottom of this pyramid, building AI agents. And you can do that at scale because now we have like hundreds of like potential citizen developers that can build the AI agents using Stack.AI. And I think that's the beauty of Stack.AI. You can really go from idea to production. And then on top of Stack.AI, we have our own team that is either developing their own solution or actually including those AI agents from Stack.AI inside our like central system. So it's really kind of the best of both worlds. And again, with a P mindset, that's what we are creating here. It's really kind of like a huge tech asset. So it's like we have all those agents and we can really go super fast while managing the decentralization of AI. And then, because you...
Fabien?
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Feel free to jump in.
Just before we get too far, can you just give us some examples, some anecdotal examples of what some of those individual agents do or what their purpose is or why you have multiple agents?
Yeah. So typical AI agent, like for example, for my own team, we do a lot of like analysis about AI capabilities. So what we created, we've created an AI agent that is actually analyzing LinkedIn and dissecting kind of the LinkedIn profile of those like AI team that they are. Because right now we have a big problem, like a P firm will come to us and say, I believe they do AI, but when we really look at their AI team, this is kind of like data science. So we are really here to take all those LinkedIn profiles, analyze them, and tell them this is really kind of advanced AI, or no, it's like, it's like basic automation. So it's really helping. So it would take us like a month to do that, but we do that in a day because we developed like an AI agent like that. Other AI agent could be a typical knowledge base. So what's great with Stack.AI, it's now we can embed like a citizen developer in most of our project, and every project will have a knowledge base, and then everybody in the project can query and ask information. So they went from, I need to go in one SharePoint, I need to go in OneDrive, I need to go on my laptop, wasting like hours, to in 2 minutes I have access. And the nice thing about Stack.AI is you have the source, so you know exactly where is the document or where the document is coming from, etc., etc.
So in that case, you're just asking the agent to go find something?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
In a very defined environment.
Yeah. Yep.
And then
Okay.
we have
yeah.
We have another like team member that just sent me the request yesterday. They've created kind of like a cyber client. So before going to the final like report out, they upload the document and they ask this cyber client to give feedback and find error or find, you know, sometimes you go too fast or you forget to change the name of a client or those kind of things. This AI agent will find all the inconsistencies, all the weird stuff, or if you forgot something that was obvious, the AI agent will find you.
Okay. Yep. That's helpful. Thank you.
And again, you know, feel free to jump in. It's designed to be a discussion. It just so you know, it will be roughly like 20-25 minutes of like presentation, and then we will open to Q&A. And so again, to answer your question, Eric, because those use cases are very broad, you don't need to be, you know, super tech advanced to do that. So our rules are very simple. 4 rules. You just need to be curious, be engaged, work in iteration. So you need to understand kind of like how we work in tech. And the 4th one is really important. You don't need to be a nerd. Like we really want to tell the entire organization, like, don't be blocked because you don't know Python. Not a problem at all. And then that's, you know, transitioning to Stack.AI. So now you understand like the keystone of our decentralizing AI initiative is Stack.AI, because now everybody that are part of this program can go and use Stack.AI. And, you know, I think Bernard, you can probably talk much better than I do about Stack.AI. So feel free to jump in and explain different use cases, why, you know, like in this kind of situation with decentralizing AI, Stack.AI is super strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, this is a great segue. And, you know, for anybody that has questions, not only I can help, Fabien, you know, you're a great expert as well. But Jeff, to give an introduction, Stack.AI is a local platform designed to democratize AI agents across companies. What this means is that in a no-code fashion, any organization can come, lay out a set of processes that they have identified that are very manual, very repetitive, usually related to accessing information or to extracting information from documents or emails, and you know then transfer somewhere else. And take that process and map it into the different tools that the AI today have enabled us to like transform this process into what people call an AI agent, which in reality is a combination of multiple elements: retrieving information from a database, summarizing with a language model, you know, performing automated research, you know, structuring data into a format so that it can then be entered into a different system, etc. But that's what Stack.AI does. It's a system that allows you to very easily map processes into AI agents. And once you do that first step, then create a production-ready application that can be shared with the rest of your organization. You can see in here, actually in this screen that Fabien is showing you, some of the components of our platform, how you can build these workflows, how you can create a user interface for these agents, and then from there, how, with the help of our team, you can have a dedicated support engineer and a dedicated AI strategist that will help you plan so that the deployment of AI agents in your organization can be successful top to bottom. As I mentioned, companies like Red Bull, Nubank, Monzo Bank, Raiffeisen Bank, Morgan & Morgan, and all work with us to run this transformation. And the way they start is quite straightforward. A centralized IT shareholder who discovers our platform identifies 1 or 3 processes in some departments. Could be legal, could be compliance, could be support, could be business development, could be risk, etc. And then from those use cases, it starts small. Pick one department, pick the low-hanging fruits, and quickly develop those agents here, as you can see here by putting together a workflow with the help of our forward deploying engineers next to them. And from there, work in order to expand that use case into further departments. Come and build similar agents for the Department of Finance, for the Department of Legal, and then expand across the organization. That's what we do. The idea in the end is that, as Fabien was saying, you enable your organization to have a collection of citizen developers that are experts in their own in their own tasks and in their own business function. And through that, they can very easily map what are the key bottlenecks of their department or their business unit into this AI agent tooling. And from there, work with either our forward deployed engineers or a partner like Fabien in order to like find what the right mapping looks like in order to get automations into production. As Fabian said, the 95% of AI agent projects fail. And it's, the reason is because this process of mapping repetitive manual tasks into AI agents and prioritizing them is very poorly understood by most organizations. Rightfully so, because it's very new technology and there's very little accessible information about it in the internet. But the goal is that through this low-code interface, you can come, identify a few processes, and then build an entire AI strategy around it and make it a reality, from idea to production in one place. And also, as Fabian said before, very quickly.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, we've been really impressed by Stack.AI, and we really believe that it's a super for us again. And I know, Bernard, you are working with a lot of like major companies, but for me, it's such a great tool for like mid-market companies. And I know in this call we have a lot of funds with like companies between like 50 million and like $500 million revenue. I think that's a great tool because you can very quickly have this bottom part of the pyramid, which very quickly you can embed Stack.AI. And then I think the key is to give them what we've seen at Ducker Carlisle. We don't have to spend, like weeks or months of training. As long as they have some support, as Bernard mentioned, some experts that can really tell them, how to use it overall and like debugging or addressing their question, they can be pretty much autonomous. So that's really where it's amazing because like in a couple of weeks, you can have like dozens of AI agents running in production. And you can, like in a couple of weeks, you can start getting those efficiency gains. So for us, it's really great. And from a pure technology point of view, I mean, we have like, you can see on the slide, I mean, we have like 3 dedicated resources, but you don't need like an army of consultants or an army of like tech people super expensive to drive this program. Like with, again, like with 3 external, or if you have that internally, that's even better. But with three like SMEs in the space, you can really cover like hundreds of like citizen developer, almost autonomous on Stack.AI on their own.
So the point is, using the Stack.AI tools, the citizen developer can build their own stuff easily. That's basically the layman's way to describe it, yeah?
Correct. And then again, the beauty of that is even if they don't reach exactly what they want, they can create kind of like a proof of concept.
Mm-hmm.
But so to answer your question, Bill, I think 80% of what they want to do, they can do it in Stack.AI. And then the remaining 20%, it's when our central team is important. It's like, that's what I want to build. I'm limited by the platform. Can you help us? And then for us, those are either like very high impact use cases. And we say, the ROI is amazing. Let's do that, like centrally. But instead of us spending, days or like months or years trying to cover 80% of those use cases that are very simple that they can do on Stack.AI, I mean, like the ROI is amazing for us.
So many of these use cases, the simple ones, the citizen developer can go from 0 to 100% without the SME getting involved at all, once they're trained, basically.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think the only role of our team, the central team, is from a governance point of view. It's like, what kind of LLM are you using? Who has access? So it's more like, it's almost like an IT governance thing. So I would say technically speaking, yeah, they can go from 0 to 100%. You still have, maybe 99%. You still have a remaining 1%, which is like making sure that we don't replicate something that already exists, making sure that we are not breaking any safety or regulation rules, those kind of things. But yeah, I mean, like we've seen at Ducker Carlisle, like again, like we have one citizen developer, like he built like 5 agents in 1 week. He was so excited and just start shipping AI agent, and those are running, like up and running.
Interesting. Is companies that don't have, this team of SMEs, can their IT department do this, take this governance role, or not really?
I would say no, just because, as Bernard mentioned, I think we have a knowledge and expertise problem right now. So it's very hard to find people that understands truly AI. Can they learn it? I'm sure they can. But I think you still need a little bit of expertise on top of this pyramid, even if it's a lot of decentralization, to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
And again, don't expect it's like, $500,000 thing to I think for a couple, like even for 150K for a year, you can have external people that are really dedicated to manage this decentralized approach.
Okay. I had one other question, but it's more of a to-do. I'm just wondering if we could actually see it in action, but I want to defer to others who may have questions and whatever else.
And I'm sure it will give time to Bernard to prepare a small demo. I don't want to put you on the spot, Bernard, but I'm sure you can demo it quickly.
For sure. And by the way, I also use the same time to give you a quick walkthrough of what we have this on our website. I think that's even the best system in general. So let me share in here. I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Very good. So this is our website, Stack.AI. As you know, you can just come here if you want to first learn a bit more about what we do. I'll show you a quick overview of what we do as a platform, but as we mentioned before, you can build AI agents in the form of workflows, export a user interface for the AI agent, and connect it to more than 100 systems that we operate with consistently. Something that, Fabien perhaps we didn't mention as much is our focus on security. Stack.AI is designed very much with enterprise and mid-market in mind, meaning that we are the only platform that has the highest standards of security at every layer of development. For this reason, we are SOC 2 compliant, GDPR compliant, HIPAA compliant, ISO 27001 compliant. And in the most data-sensitive environments, Stack.AI can be hosted on premises in an air-gapped environment. That's why companies like BAE Systems, Lockheed Martin work with us, because they can use Stack.AI in very private environments. As mentioned, you can have a white glove support from dedicated AI experts, that can come out from Stack.AI or one of our partners at Ducker Carlisle to help you navigate the journey of transforming your organization with different workflows. Common things that people will do with Stack.AI are systems for data extraction from documents, systems for knowledge retrieval from databases, where you can use natural language to query SharePoint, Azure Blob Storage, Dropbox, Oracle, etc., Google Drive, Snowflake, you pick. But the idea is that you can easily retrieve and summarize information from many from many types of data sources. And you can always put all this together to do research, to organize information together, and then draft reports, generate documents, generate proposals, etc. Very commonly found in RFPs, legal, and the likes. And yeah, we have more than 200 systems that we can integrate with in order to power AI agents. The list grows every day, with more actions, more integrations. And, the breadth of use cases that we cover can commonly be found in document intelligence, chat assistance, information routing, web research, and RFP drafting and proposal generation, etc. And yeah, consistently Stack.AI has been ranked as one of the best performing AI tools, being one that has a very friendly interface, but also is quite powerful. So it can get you quite far in the journey of building your AI strategy. And we serve many enterprises with many have different degrees of success. As you want to learn more about Stack.AI, I definitely recommend you watching our website, and especially going to our industries pages where you can see specific use cases in finance, in insurance, in manufacturing, in education, in government, in healthcare. And from there, have a consistent image of what can be successful with it. We also give you a large library of common use cases, common compliance agents and whatnot. And you can see stories from how many of our customers were successful in automating key processes internally. To give you a quick example from leading logistics firms in Europe, they build an AI and IT support chatbot using Stack.AI. Within our platform, the way they work with us is that they design an agent that receives a user question, receives a file from the user, then we make sure to parse that file with OCR. Then from there, we search based on the user question, a library from Google Drive with all their handbook of IT support. And then a large language model using OpenAI will take the user question and will know that it can answer a request for the user. And if the request is above the level of authority, please connect them with a support agent that will automatically run the connection, where the LM will do that. They built this agent, published it, and from there, they got an internal IT support chat that they could share internally with the rest of the team. How do I get backups, etc. And that's a very simple but quite practical workflow. Like it shows you like how you can start with a simple AI agent to help a team. They then went and built some tools for contract review, for instance, that allow them to build an agent. Now you can see in this case much more complex, where the team will provide a contract to the AI agent. That contract will be processed with OCR. Then the contract will be summarized by a language model, but you will extract key terms that are important to the user. And this will analyze all the key seven or eight subterms they care about and contrast them with their gold standard. Then based on that, put together a summary that is well organized of the tender agreement and upload it to their Google Drive in one file that is organized for them to then submit to their legal team. Essentially redlined with their overall comments on it. They build this agent. It's quite simple. You upload your contract and you get all the key terms that you are interested on. And from there, their legal team can save hours in contract review, which happens every 30 minutes, in filling all this information, getting all the specific emails and the likes that are associated with this tender agreement, then generating this report that gets uploaded to the Google Drive automatically. And finally, they built several tools for translation that allow them to translate reports, contracts, and messages across cross-border teams using a bilayer language model, AI agent that had context about their industry, the specific terminology they use internally. And from there, they designed this agent. They published it and got out of it a very practical and simple system to generate translations automatically. You go put in here a message, record yourself, and then get a reliable document or message translation across the company, which then you will get as a message or translation. They also build tools for sales to connect the CRM, to perform the automated research. We don't do to talk as much about them, but the idea is that you can start small and then from there build these agents to higher complexity. And at every moment and at every stage of this deployment, you have your own governance and your own controls, such that whenever you build these tools, you can control who can access them, who can use them, and at what degree. And the idea is that you can run this transformation in all the stages of the business and all the different business units of the organization, with the idea of ensuring that after 3 months, you have transformed a selected group of processes and have laid out the foundation so that you have then citizen developers that can own this transformation. You can see here in legal, in lending, etc. But the overall idea is that, loan review, closing packages, credit and policy, all of these are common automations people have built, like a data room analysis, etc. That's the 101 of Stack.AI. If you want to learn more, definitely feel free to get in contact with our team through this link to get a demo or to learn more. Of course, Fabien will always be able to be a partner there contacting us, to be working with us together to achieve that connection. And we have a large value of resources, we have an academy We have a very comprehensive blog with use cases, news, tutorials, with common examples as to where to bring AI agents into an organization. Examples of different common use cases that you can implement, all very well organized and summarized. So that if you want to know how do I build a sales call compliance classifier, you can see in one place what are the steps to do so and how to configure all of it. With that, Guillaume, I think
is there a video on the website that we could view offline, maybe, that shows us
Absolutely.
like building an agent?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely recommend you look at our YouTube channel. We have a collection of tutorials and guides there.
Okay.
I'm happy to send you an email with some examples of use cases and how you build something in the platform, so you can see what the journey looks like inside.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Other resources I recommend are the CIO's Guide for AI Transformation. It's a resource we have developed that essentially outlines the common steps towards starting from a pilot and taking use cases to production. And perhaps my favorite, the 75 real-world AI agent use cases in production, which is a curated list that we made with AI agents that can be taken to production, at a very quick pace, based on successful stories from our existing customers. And if I open, just for references to show you here, this white paper is actually quite comprehensive, and it will show you as a reference the breadth of problems that you can attack across different industries: insurance, government, finance, education, private lending, banking, industrials, etc. And we'll show you kind of like what is the structure of the agent, what are the components through it, how it was adopted, and kind of like what were the main use cases, with a link for you to actually see more for each of them, where you can click and you can see more details into how the agent is actually implemented, and like the specific details on how to configure it yourself. So I'll send you. We can send you some resources on building an agent from scratch after this call, after this meeting. But the idea is that in one place you get your own resources. If you provide us any information, you'll get a customized, tailored AI strategy plan from us based on what our AI agent can find online from your company. But yeah, that's the overall journey of Stack.AI. Fabien, back to you.
Yeah, I mean it's more back to the team here. I mean, I think it's really the floor is yours if you have questions or ideas or anything that you want to share. Feel free to jump in.
Don't know that I had anything else. I'm interested in checking out the videos and see an agent built in action, but I'll do that offline. I'm planning on learning how to do this, so I'm curious what I'm up against.
I was going to ask, I was curious for the PE attendees here, me included, scale of 1 to 10, where are we at on, sort of understanding how to build agents? I'm at a 0.5.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah, okay. So it's very interesting, but significant desire in getting up that curve and, understanding it, sort of from an intuitive perspective. Because I think it will just help have the discussion with the portfolio companies and value creation and other ways internally that we would look to use it. I can't direct folks to go down a path that I don't have an understanding of. So, yeah, I'm interested. I will go, Bernard, to the website and review some of these documents, but
Yeah.
hopefully you're open to a follow-up email or two with some questions.
By all means, feel free to send any questions, and the other resource I recommend you taking a look is our YouTube channel, where you will find a wide variety of videos with examples of AI agents for credit unions, InfoSec agents, etc., tutorials and common use cases. For instance, I will show you here like building a claims processing agent. This tutorial, one of our team members outlines the steps for building one in detail, and all the elements required for it.
Bernard, like what when you think about your clients, what does an advanced client look like? I've talked to
An
a bunch of PE
advanced client.
firms, and I would say the PE firms and their portcos are nowhere, largely when it comes to AI. And I think it's a real competitive
Yeah.
advantage for those PE firms that can get their portcos moving. But I'm curious what your advanced clients look like.
Yeah, no, I would say that where we see the most advancement is in the mid-market enterprise, whenever you have a strong IT function. Because what does this mean? This means you have an organization that is lean, that has the ability to very quickly connect to systems with governance, but without too many roadblocks to make any connect any engagements. And there's a strong centralized IT function that can easily engage with different business units in order to like make that proliferation of AI agents internally successful. When I look at our most successful clients, let's say we have a client that is a digital bank. They're not necessarily particularly big. They may have 5,000 employees. They're not necessarily on the range of Bank of America or JP Morgan, but they have a sizable operation. And in their case, they managed to be quite successful with us because their IT function had a kind of sort of a dozen people that could become quickly experts on the platform, quickly understand how to build tools. And initially, they partnered with one department, the risk department. And with them, they identified 3 use cases that could be helpful that could be implemented with an AI, that could be successful with an AI agent. And they worked alongside with our support in order to implement those 3 use cases in a period of 2 months. They managed to get from idea to testing and to production in all that time. And even though those use cases were quite simple, they did set up the seed so that in the future they could bring more complex use cases in anti-money laundering research, in KYC, in due diligence, and then that expanded to risk. Then that same IT function managed to connect us with their legal team. And then legal came with a series of use cases. And then in the same fashion, that after 2 months of kind of like doing a small pilot of deployment, that turned into 3 use cases that were used in production. And then they expanded with more ideas. Then they went and repeated the same motion in the finance team. Then they repeated the same motion in the HR team, and they gotta keep growing across the organization. But a successful journey is one where each business unit identifies the key unique processes they have, where AI agents can be impactful by automating this repetitive, dull manual work, and each of them has the ability to have a central authority that can give them access to the platform, to a platform like ours, and guide them on the design of these agents so that they can take the first 2 steps together, the first few steps together, and then they can move on their own as they expand their agents there. And indeed, it's a huge transformational advantage, not just towards like efficiency gains, whatnot, but also like towards the ability to then transform new business units and and parts of the organization as things evolve.
And
So
so who actually did the physical build of these agents for this digital bank? Were you
so
guys doing it for them or not involved at all or what?
so we were doing the giving and support, but they were building themselves. Their IT function were the first ones that became experts in building.
Oh,
They're
they
always
did.
like the first ones to build something, but
Okay.
they hand it out to like the business unit so that eventually they become the ones that build themselves.
Oh, really?
We
Okay.
were always there to like handhold them and like be a resource in the journey of building those agents, but never build it fully ourselves for them.
Got it. I understand. Um, and so I guess they have kind of rolled out this citizen developer concept then in their company. They've got a bunch
Yeah.
of people doing this. Okay, interesting. That's great.
And now they have hundreds of agents, by the way.
Oh, do they
We
really?
remain engaged with them. We have we do workshops with them. We do boot camps with the company to like onboard them and train them on how to use the platform, how to do the 101. Today we didn't do like a full blown walkthrough of the platform, but we very normally do boot camps where we like in one day we do a session of building with the platform. We all try to build something together. You can like go through the 101. Then again, another session we all brainstorm use cases per department, and then we kind of come up with a priority list, and we help kind of like organize them and rank them. And then at
So
the end,
if you were to
everybody
ask
comes up
like
with
the
an idea.
CEO or CFO of that bank,
Mhm.
would they know that this is going on and would they say that this is impactful? I mean, I'm asking a biased audience, but I'm curious
Yeah, for sure.
what you think they'd say.
I know by fact the CEO would tell you it's impactful because they built a tool for the CEO that is kind of like for business intelligence internally within the bank and for compliance intelligence. And the CEO uses it daily. So like
Oh, really?
he probably will tell you just by that it's it's usually it's with quite a large amount of volume. He will tell you just with that it's quite impactful. Financially, actually each department made like an analysis in that particular bank about how much money they save or how much money they were making or how much time they were saving. And they managed to like report some substantial wins, like in the six figures per month. So there is quite an impact that can be attained after you expand to a large enough volume of workflows and use cases.
Yeah. So I'm sorry.
No, I was just
Eric.
go ahead, Bill, finish because I've got something that may take us down a different wormhole.
Okay, so what I was going to say is actually directed to you. Like we have one of our portcos that's been working with Fabien's team. They've got like 1,800 employees, doing a lot of like manual customer service sort of. I mean, there's hundreds of people we could take out, but that's going to be like a complicated thing. I'm of the view that like what you described, Bernard, of companies having a bunch of hundreds of apps that are like, save a few hours here and there, like that's much more likely to certainly work and save cost and make people more efficient. Anyway, that's my personal view. Eric, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely. I think it's important to start small and then gradually go to the full-blown transformation. I think that the reason why the Fortune 500 struggles so much with AI is that they only go for the big transformations of let's fire off our support team. And then they get roadblocks right away. And that's the 95% of failures that was reported.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
So this is gonna sound like an incredibly self-serving comment, and it probably is, but I'm in private equity, so you gotta cut me some slack. What might be really interesting, Fabien and Bernard and others who would be interested in continuing to penetrate private equity as a client base, is like to get a group of uh, sponsor professionals together to brainstorm like the the agent light, but you can just test it and just say, here's an agent for you, start to use it. And I can't go any deeper than that, right? Because I can't give an example, but some kind of use case that would be impactful for a private equity professional that where it's not allowing, Stack.AI into the internal data of a private equity firm or of a portfolio company, but just something that is a very frequent to do, thing that a private equity professional would do. And I'm purposely not specifying anything because I think you would want it to be a broader base of people to say what's important to you and just come up with something to say, here's an agent at use, right? It's like talking about fine wine. And if nobody's ever experienced fine wine, they really don't know what you're talking about. They don't know if you're talking about, a Lafite or Mad Dog 2020 because they just don't have a framework to understand what it is. So I just think for a certain skeptical, with a bias towards skepticism audience, the chance to like test drive something that's just like, oh my gosh, yeah, okay, now I see how agents can impact lives to just, you know, get the snowball going. And then if we become advocates internally, then we're able to, actually, you know, have a testimonial around something that we've done that would be relatable to the rest of our partners and then trickle down into the portcos. Just a thought.
My own, question on that one is, or comment, I guess, would be, we're I don't know, 15, 18 people, whatever. So our, analysts are using, AI, but, to build stuff. We don't have hundreds of employees that we can save lots and lots and lots of time with.
No, and I'm specifically talking about an agent. So and we're 25 people, so we're in the same zip code.
Sure.
And our associates are cranking on AI and using AI for all the similar kind of use cases, I would imagine. But we start talking about investing time and committing, our brains to building agents. That feels just different, right? I mean, and so
it's different. No question about it.
So this is just maybe a marketing suggestion for Fabien and Bernard, is like, hey, just we can talk for an hour, and guess what? I still don't know what fine wine means.
Yeah.
You described it to me, but I still don't really know what it means. Give me a glass to drink.
Yeah.
Give me 2 glasses to compare, and then let's talk about it. That's my point. And so if you, as a part of this session, you said, hey, click on this link, here's an agent that has been built based on input from a dozen different private equity professionals, that this is something that they do every single day of their lives. And we designed this specifically to just show you how you can immediately overlay it on Outlook and get rid of all of the spam emails that you have or all the solicitations from recruiting firms or whatever we want to build to do something that would relieve me having to click a button 100 times a day, right? Or something else that is based on, just give me information about the subsectors so you have a tool, you have an agent that says, here are the subsectors that I lead. And for me, it's pharma services. And so I can go to pharma services and I can put some stuff in, and it's better than Google or it's better than ChatGPT. It's an agent. And so right now, I don't know how an agent is better than me just going and typing that stuff in. Food for thought.
Thanks, Erica. That's a great suggestion. Maybe we can discuss with Bernard and see how we can do something. I see your point, like make it very tangible, very actionable.
Yeah, and it just creates, for me at least, I know I'm just one of the attendees here. For me, it would make it more tangible to really understand the difference between what I'm using right now and really become intuitively connected to the difference between an agent and why agents are important versus just general AI. I think that would just create a much more vibrant kind of dialogue around all the use cases that we could take agents and anecdotes of how we've used them and just continue to spread the word.
I actually had a quick question on, Eric, this is kind of what you were talking about, but also Bernard, the example you gave. Mm-hmm. With that bank example, did they come to you with already scoped out potential for agents, say, okay, we want to build agents to do X, Y, Z, or did they have processes and they had an idea that agents might make them quicker, faster, better, but didn't really know how to use it? It's a little bit of a chicken and egg question, but that's what I'm wondering is, do they have a list of processes and not really understanding how to plug agents into that, or they already knew the 3 use cases for agents?
Many scenarios have happened where companies have come to us and they have a loose idea. And then what we do is that we work with them through either what we call a boot camp or a workshop in order to uncover what these processes can look like. One of our favorite resources we have is we have an AI agent that gives us ideas for AI agents for companies to build. And the overall idea is that, there's the important thing is to understand what are the patterns of use cases that we are finding. And if we find that, this is where we are a department organization that has a very heavy compliance function because they work with government. These are the common processes that they will find that are probably going to be a good fit for automation in the short term. And we help them map those to previous successful customer stories in order to propose, okay, this is a dozen AI agents they could choose from. And of course, you have to look critically at each of them to understand, okay, is this actually feasible right now? Do we actually have access to these systems? Is this process as recurrent with us as it is with others? But from there, it's quite easy to get to the point where you identify 3 use cases. I would say that that is actually something in which our team has refined that process very well over the past few years in order to get to a reliable point.
That's really helpful. So in those cases, they have a list of processes. They have an inclination that there's a better way to do the things that they're already doing, and they don't necessarily have the solution on the how they go about it.
Exactly. And many times we work with a similar company to them. It's very easy for us to find 3 to 10 use cases that can make sense.
Right. Because then you
Like,
prioritize. Yeah.
Mhm.
Perfect.
If
Thank
we
you.
get a credit union, like we have already like the list of 20, okay, we prioritize from there.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's a great question, Irina, because what we've seen on our side, it's what we see today is there is a paralysis. Like they have so many use cases, they don't know where to start, so they do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen at Ducker Carlisle. And for us, this decentralizing approach is perfect because you can kill the bottleneck and everybody can do kind of their day-to-day use cases. But like the very major transformation, like really creating a tech asset for a company, now you can extract this one use case that is a moonshot, have like a dedicated team doing this moonshot transformation while giving everybody kind of like access to, like the right platform. And that's where you kill the shadow IT and the shadow AI, because as of today, we know that 90% of the organization, everybody is using ChatGPT, free version, putting confidential information, doing nonsense, doing stuff that honestly, like putting the company at risk. So by having this kind of like governance, it's like the company is safe, everybody is happy because they have Stack.AI to build their own agent that are saving a couple of hours, but when you add up, it's a lot of hours saved, while making like the tech people focus on what will completely transform the organization. And for a P firm, what will make like a normal company, how you become a tech company. Usually it's 1 or 2 big use cases that are transformational. You don't want to waste time by automating reporting, but they can do it on Stack.AI and it's super efficient.
I guess the other kind of misconception is probably they feel like they need to have the answer. Like they need to be at a point to where they come to you saying, okay, these are the 3 things I need built, instead of coming back to like actually looking at what's possible.
Correct. All right. Well, we always block an hour in case there is a lot of. I think that's our top performing session. This one, because we are almost at time. Again, we still have 4 minutes, so if you have any other question, feel free to ask. Again, big thank you, Bernard, for joining and for all your explanation. It's as always.
Thank you. Looking forward to doing many more of these sessions.
I think I got it. I'm going to check out the videos. Eric, I guess my comment is, my understanding of AI is this stuff is really custom. So I guess I'm not sure if one can build an AI agent that, the PE community can use. Like it probably has to be built for your firm, but I don't know. That's my understanding. Fabien, am I right on that or not? Not like, could you build something that both Eric and Boathouse could use, Eric's firm and Boathouse firm? Yes?
Yeah, I think Bernard showed like NDA. So you can have an agent, your standard, like unique NDA for Boathouse, for Excelir. You can really have, your standard languages, you can create a template. And, like every time you have an NDA, you have an automation workflow and you just, click a button and then it will populate and do send it to you sign it, those kind of things. So you can really kind of automate your entire NDA process.
I understand.
Yeah. And I'm even just, like much simpler and easier that just, sort of just like, again, just something to give you an idea of what it is. And that's why I said, if you can try to get, a half dozen or a dozen folks together to brainstorm it out, I think it's a half hour. I don't think it's a long session. Just say, hey, can we rally around? Is there one thing that we can rally around? And if you had a half dozen that would say, hey, yeah, this would be kind of fun to test out or would be useful on a daily basis, then I think that would be the analog for everybody, but maybe not. Say hi to Colin for me, Bill.
I will. I will.
Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, no, I'll let him know that we chatted. Yeah, it's interesting. I'll think on that. Awesome.
All right.
Perfect. Well, thanks
Fabien.
again for your time.
Yeah.
And have a great rest of your day.
Likewise.
See you next time.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you, Bernard.